What are my tips for setting up a work from home environment? One of the things I would say is it's really helpful to create a separation of space, a space where you do the work and the space where you walk away from the work. And this doesn't have to be a dedicated office. You can do that if you have the space to dedicate a room and make that your office, where when you go in there, you shut the door, you're doing work. And when you leave that space, you are no longer in work mode. For a lot of people, though, that's unrealistic. And you don't need that. You need a nook, a corner, a space that you've dedicated and you've called that workspace. And that can be helpful. It may be helpful to have multiple workspaces. For instance, if you do creative work and administrative work or technical work, you may set up little spaces where basically it ignites that creativity in your brain. And so when I'm in this environment, I'm creative. And when I'm in this environment, I'm analytical. And when I'm in this environment, I'm something else. So creating separation of workspaces can be really helpful. But ultimately, having a dedicated space to focus on work, and so you can actually use that as a trigger that when I walk away from there, I am no longer at work, is a really helpful way of setting up a work environment. Another thing that you might consider doing is setting a schedule of when your office hours are. And instead of 9 to 5 office hours, like, hey, these 2 hours are dedicated and my family knows this is the dedicated time that I'm doing this. So they know to try not to disturb me unless there's an emergency or whatever, because I'm giving really dedicated work. What you find is what most people think gets done in 8 hours can sometimes get done in 3 hours of really focused, dedicated, productive time. When you work at the time you are best suited to work, you get far more done than trying to work through a long period of time. And so that's another part of creating that environment, is time boxing and creating separation of location for that dedicated work.